This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let's go. Get on your mark, let's go. What you waiting for? There's so much more. The future's yours. Let go, explore. It's yours for sure. Same but me with fear. So to God I stay near. I keep my hand to the plow. There's no turning back now. My future look bleak. I decided to see. He said follow me. On a journey you'll see. Get on your mark, let's go. What you waiting for? There's so much more. Happy Sabbath Saturday in my world. That's what I call it. Happy Sabbath Saturday in Shawneeville, or happy Saturday to you. This is Shawnell Brown, the host of Lessons from the Journey Live, and I'm so glad that you chose to join me in this very special space today. You know, if you've been watching for any time, Lessons from the Journey Live is all about helping you live well together so that you can go love your life. I only bring the very best of the best and the people who are closest to my mission, which is to unite and change the world and help people live well together. You don't just get in this space because you're going to be in this space. You got to be invited into the space because you care about the movement, the mission, and the people. So you can rest assured that any brand, person, influencer that you see in this space, they are connected to the Shawneeville way of life, which is live well together. So anyway, I had to get all of that out. You know, I had to give you all the information. And one little tidbit before I introduce today's guest. You see that QR code up there at the top? It's the Lessons from the Journey QR code. So what I want you to do, if you haven't done this already, is I want you to press your phone or click your mouse or whatever the techie thing that you have, because I'm not techie. I want you to go subscribe to that page because I don't want you to miss anything that we're doing. As I develop, you develop. So get there and subscribe. Anyway, let me get to today's guest. I have had the honor of speaking to Toure Carter for probably about 2 years, building a global brand with a global purpose is very, very challenging. And you meet a lot of people along the way, but you don't know if they're really about what they say they're about. You don't know if they really care about it, but you know that there's something about that person. Well, not only do I know that he's about it, I know that we were meant to do this together. So let me introduce to you Toure Carter. He is the founder of D20 Water. And he's a whole bunch of other things I think he's too humble to really get behind. But you know me as Coach Shawnee. The first thing I do is what do? Challenge him. So anyway, Toure, good morning. How are you?
Grand Risings. Good morning. I'm well. How are you doing?
I'm so good. Toure, I'm going right in with a question.
Mhm.
Why did you agree to come here?
Because of you. We was able to connect on another level in terms of ideal minds and alignments, and from a spiritual base, as well as just like you said, from a health base and just overall just making an impact. So it made it relatively easy. And then obviously your positivity, right? You're Mrs. Positive, so you bring the energy, you bring the flow, like you bring it every time. So when I need my fix, I always give you a call and be like, "Hey, what's going on? How you doing?" And you like, what, Trey? Like, the spirit is moving. So, and I'm like, "Great, thank you so much for blessing me and being able to bring me into the present." So, I'm always, always looking forward to speaking with.
Oh, I love you. All I hear right now, you just gave me a new tagline. When you want a little bit, just plug in, baby. Just plug in.
Plug in.
Yeah, just plug in. So before I get to D20, Tell me about the journey, your journey that leads you to create D2O. Where did you start? What's your background? All of that good stuff. Tell the people.
Yeah, I think it started from a fundamental essence of just growing up in an environment where you had limited resources, but you were able to dream big. Now, whether those dreams were stifled or not, that's neither here nor there. I think it's based off of experience and the decisions that you make. But during that time, I was able to kind of just dream big, and I've always been willing to take risks or try things that's different that may be uncomfortable. And so after my career of playing and coaching, I always wanted to be a part of a global brand or something that was significant. And through my experiences of playing and coaching and developing as a father and etc., um, health started to be really important. And so during the pandemic, we were locked down 24/7, and we were working. It was a new environment, and I was drinking coffee every day. And I just
Mhm.
looked at my coffee mug and I was like, you know what? I don't want to drink any more coffee. So I stopped, and I wouldn't even finish a full cup of coffee. Right? It became just redundant. Right? Just the
Habitual.
smell, just the taste. Right? Just the first
Mhm.
initial taste. And then I tried to stop, and I had like migraines and headaches for like 3 days. So for me, I said there has to be an alternative, and from that point on, I kind of went into the lab and started juggling, work life balance, and achieving a dream is something that I truly believed in. I feel like God placed it on my heart that people are looking for healthy alternatives like myself that not only heals you but also gives you the energy that you need so that you can sustain throughout the day to be your best.
Okay, so let me go back a little bit because you said I played and I coached. Did you play tennis? Did you play basketball? What did you play? What did you coach? Who'd you coach for? Who'd you play for? Tell me, can tell us.
Honestly, I played every sport. I was always intrigued with everything from tennis to golf, to except for water polo. I think that's just a tough sport. And even occasionally the 400-meter dash. But for me, I was a three-sport athlete, but I had the blessing and the pleasure. And the gift to be gifted with a scholarship to play football. So I played football for the majority of my career. I had the opportunity of playing professional at the AFL level for 7 years. I had a nice cup of, I don't even know, a shot of tea, not a shot of tequila, a shot of tea of the NFL, and then I went into coaching. Where I coached at the high school level, the junior college level, and then I went on to the Power Five, coaching at Stanford University, and then I had some stints at the Washington Redskins and the Denver Broncos to see if it was a fit. And so that was my kind of professional experience over 20 years of coaching and professional playing, but been playing sports since I was able to walk.
How hard is it? I really want people to understand to play that sport, to play any sport on those levels. What kind of determination and grit do you have to have to get to those levels?
Yeah, you have to have a tremendous amount of grit and dedication, and also thick skin. What I learned early on in life is no matter how much experiences I've had as an adolescent, all the trials and tribulation that kind of led me to the point to be in that kind of atmosphere. But when you're around other people that are great and right, wrong, or indifferent, what they do with their lifestyle is their business. But at the end of the day, they have these certain levels of skills that they've accumulated over the duration of their career that it raises the bar. So now you have to raise the bar every time you step out on the field, whether if it's practice, whether if it's a walkthrough, and for sure, whether if it's game time. So
Yeah.
it was like an ongoing, I don't want to say stress, but it was an ongoing like tension of striving to be the best version of yourself in many
Oh.
ways. So we always say like, as players, like what I tell athletes now, and this is a big term in the NFL, is that you just try. It used to be 2% better, right? But now everybody's like 1% better,
Mm.
and people have to understand like that 1 to 2%, that marginal is very, very tough to get, right? We're not talking about
Mhm.
going out and jogging a mile and dropping your mile time. We're talking about the hairline fractions of a percentage to get better, which is finding an intricate detail or details that's going to take you to the next level, whether if it's meditation,
Yeah.
whatever that is, right? Whatever that is. So when you're in an environment, when you're surrounded and encompassed by that kind of culture, you go into certain mindsets, and it
Mhm.
just you just compete on another level. So it's very similar to what I'm doing now in terms of the beverage industry, right? It's the same.
It's the same
Yeah, you can
situation.
draw from the same thing. It all looks different.
It
It
all
just
it's
looks
just
different.
different. It's just different methods of the same thing, but you have to say have the same tenacity. So, as Coach Shawnee, the whole thing is to master the game of life. We are players in this game of life, and the only person who is driving the bus of Shawnee is me. I'm making the decisions. I have to know my purpose. I have to know my why. I have to know my methods. I have to know if I'm a quarterback or a cornerback. I can't show up on the baseball field thinking I'm a swimmer. I have to be prepared for what I'm called and created to do. And so I'm loving that you brought all that out because it doesn't matter. You have to take that same mentality with you. Am I right?
Correct. And then also, it doesn't matter if you go in and say, I want to be a quarterback, because the game may tell you that no, you're not playing quarterback because this person is playing quarterback. So now you have to now work on the other part of self,
Come
right?
on.
Which is the ego that, really could hurt or help you in terms of how you progress. So it's just being flexible in a multitude of ways. And I think that's what experience is just being flexible.
And I think you got to know your tools, I would assume. You got to know what were you gifted to do, right? I'm assuming that you have to know your body. You have to know what position did you play?
I played defensive back, but I
Played
was a
defensive.
multi. The reason why I really enjoyed the Arena Football League was because it really allowed me to play all positions, like
Okay.
literally. It was so. Let me just go back. Like, my dream was to play professional football in some capacity, whether if it was NFL, CFL, NFL Europe. I just wanted to play the game because
Mhm.
the game is what saves me. I used to tell people all the time, like the game was my church, like practice was my church. It was between
So
3 and 5 or 5 and 7 or whatever time I practiced, where nothing mattered except for the reverence that I was getting when I stepped on the field and the effort that I was putting into the game that was working on me.
that's
And when you love the game that much, to play in arena football, to be able to say, hey, I can play offense, I can play defense, I can play
right.
special teams, I can even play quarterback, right? And to play all those positions in arena football, a lot of people don't even know I was a backup quarterback for our championship team because
Wow.
I could throw the pill and I was smart. I understood the offense and I understood how to play, and they watched me throw and they was like, wow, you if in the pickle, we can put you in there. And I'm like, yeah, make sure I get a couple reps first, but I can do it, and I'm going to do it. And at the end of the day, when you live off that mentality, you just enjoy the game, and that's how I
Yeah.
approach my stints.
That's why I say go love your life. Everything you do, you should be loving it. So then that means it makes you want to do the things that most I hear people say all the time. Well, some of the athletes I know who say, I love Friday nights when I played football, but I hated practice. And what I realized right then you didn't love that thing. You love
Yeah,
how the thing made you feel.
yeah,
Because I may not always like practice, but I love practice because I love what practice does for me.
yeah.
Does that make sense?
Oh, it makes a lot of sense. I go to a lot of high schools and speak, right, because hydration is a key point of our beverage line. And so I always offer these coaches like, hey, if you need anything, like let me know. And when I say need anything, meaning do you need me to talk to your kids? Because the complexity of our society, of our young people, they've endured so much, right? And even us as adults, right, to go through a
Yeah.
pandemic, to go through all of the political affairs, to go through all of the challenges to cyberbullying. I mean, there's just a lot. We didn't have cyberbullying. We had actual bullying, not
Right.
cyberbullying. And I think
Right. Right.
those two are two different elements, because if you're not used to the physical realm of the world, of always being in confrontation with somebody, the people skills, now you go socially and you try to hide, but you really can't hide behind the screen because you're still getting targeted, which I don't know which one is worse because our marketing segments are so large, right? Um,
Right.
but when you're in those positions to prove yourself over and over again, it promotes a lot of growth for what you're trying to do.
Mhm.
And sports for me was kind of it was that leadership. It was that leadership span that allowed me to do that.
Wow. Okay, now let's talk about D2O. So I thought it was D20. So thank you for correcting me. So talk to me about these two things. First of all, I believe the corporate shell is called Dirty Water.
Hmm. Dirty Water Company.
I love it. So my 30-man unit is called the Dirty 30.
Oh,
And
I love
so
it.
I had to tell you this. This is do I talk about synergy? I was like, oh, the Dirty 30. D2O runs through us. Right? We
Mm.
get the job done. That's what we say. We will do everything morally and legally and ethically sound, but we will do anything to get the job done. And it would be beautiful to have D2O running through us. But anyway, tell us about how you get the name. Tell us about the water. Tell us about your new passion.
Yeah, the Dirty Water Company came from like just in the lab in the creativity, right? And so when you're starting a brand, you start to just brainstorm. Okay, what do you want to do? How do you want to do it? And I already had a vision, right? I already had a mode of what direction I wanted to go, but I didn't know what kind of legs it was going to grow, right? Whether if it was going left, right, straight, whatever. So we just started talking, and we were like, hey, let's create a company, like the company name, and what do we call it? And we like, okay, something water, like water, water, water. And then we was like, all right, let's we were pinging stuff off like urban water or dry water or dirty water, and it was like dirty water. That's it, right there, boom. And it was like, okay, now what made you say that? And I was like, we were like, hey, because we make the water dirty, right? Every water is dirty. Every water that you drink is dirty, no matter what, right? From and not just water, but any product, right? Everything is liquid. It's different colors. It has different ingredients. It has all this, so it becomes dirty, right? So it has to have a base. Your base can't all be sugar. It can't all be
Mm,
oxygen because oxygen and you need water liquid to liquefy. You need the H2O, the hydrogen, and the water to make H2O. So it just made sense for us. And then we went into like sub brands. So D2O became a mainstream line, and then we had another brand that I can't name
yep, yep.
because of
I
privacy
know.
rights.
Mhm.
That we had two brands, and so we had two different kind of demographics that we were go to. And God took one right off our table and said, "Nope, I just want you to focus on D2O." And here we are, D2O, Dirty Water Company. Also stands for Discipline, Drive, and Opportunity. So
Oh,
two D's and an O.
I love it. Now, what makes the water what makes it different than what I'm drinking right now? I'm just drinking water. What
Mhm.
makes me need D2O?
Yeah, so when you drink water, there's no minoric value to water other than just replenishing whatever water you already currently have in in your body. So people always say, "Oh, I need to hydrate," and water doesn't hydrate you; it just fills you up with more water. And when you drink too much water, it acts as a pass through. So now you're running back and forth to the bathroom, right? It's just a screening. And so what our water does is we actually provide minerals in our water. Perhaps over 77 minerals to be exact. It's also pH balance. It also has other healing effects, detoxification, immunity boosting, stress relieving, energy, antioxidant, as well as inflammation reduction.
That's
Releases
a big
heavy
deal.
metals. It keeps going on and on and on. So when we talk about the properties that our bodies either have or lack thereof from our nutrition, the thing you need to really have is a good water in your body to help replenish with or replace or fill in what you're not getting in your daily intake.
Oh my gosh. So, as I'm listening to you, my general, she is the director of global brands. Renee, I told you about her. She is about to start chemo on Monday.
Mm.
And as I'm listening to you, I see you in hospitals. I see the water in the hospitals. Is that something, your product, is it something that could impact and support a patient going through chemo or starting that process?
Yeah, absolutely. When you talk about detoxification and cellular regeneration, those are the two key components that are absolutely vital for when you're coming off of chemo because it strips you down, right? And now you have to try to rebuild. So, cellular regeneration and starting to get the body to get back to normal by replacing it with healthy minerals so that it can actually eat is essential,
Mm,
right? That's essential.
mm,
So, and
mm.
it's almost like not to bash anything, but it's if you eat something that doesn't necessarily have a high mineral intake, then it's not going to have the same amount of value, right? And so
Right,
now it's just going to
right.
prolong the process. It'll still happen because your body is a natural mechanism, and it's carbon, so it attracts the things that it needs, right? But if you're getting low volumes, then it's not expediting the process. It's not at its full capacity.
When God gave you this, what was the vision? What did he say to you?
Yeah, he just said educate, educate, educate. I think before that he said you need to try this because I'm a health nut, right? So I'm always watching what I eat. I'm always watching what I drink. Sometimes I cheat. Don't get me wrong. I'm entitled to do so, right? But for the most part, like I try to look at what I'm eating, drinking, and partaking in before I even do it. And God just said, look, do this product and I want you to feel the difference so that you can talk about it. Then I want you to share it with these handful of people
Mm.
so that they can feel the difference. And then I want you to talk to your formulator and I want you to get this knowledge. And as the knowledge was coming in, that's when God started to reveal, like, okay, this is why you have D2O. And it's so much. It really is. It's a lot.
So you experienced the product first. You said, I'm gonna experience this
100%.
product first.
100%. And I always do it on, I always try any kind of product that I purchase on an empty stomach because if it tears your stomach up, don't do it, right? It just doesn't
Mhm.
make sense. There's an imbalance somewhere, right?
Oh, that's
Right. So,
so good.
like when you drink coffee first thing in the morning, nothing to eat, you drink coffee, your stomach is like, ooh, I got to crash, shouldn't have drank that coffee. Well, it's because coffee is very acidic, right? So your body is not used to handling, especially if it's not pH balanced,
That's
not
right.
used to handling a lot of acid, right? A lot of acidic beverages. So now you're very acidic. So you have to balance that ratio out. And a lot of us don't really understand or know that for now. But we're learning.
But we're learning, and I think that when you said educate, 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 I don't think that we really understand creation. And because we don't understand creation, we don't understand that we are a part of the whole creation and that our bodies were designed. So, I have a global discipleship community, Walking Warriors. And this season, Walking Warriors, God said, take them back to the original design,
Mm,
take them back to how I put it all together, my framework.
mm,
Because my creation doesn't understand my framework. And because they don't understand my framework, they make choices that are out of alignment with reality for themselves.
mm, mm.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going back to Genesis 1, 2, and 3 right off the bat, because at the end of the day, we're saying yes to what we should be saying no to, and we're saying no to what we should be saying yes to. And we're doing that because we don't know what to throw away and what to keep.
100%. Something that confirmed for me is when I was coaching, I had a coach who's a phenomenal coach, right? He's over at ASU. He's doing a phenomenal job. Big up to ASU.
Amen.
Um, he I would go into his office and we eat Chick-fil-A, we eat all this stuff, and he'd be sitting in there like, nope, he put all his little bag and he'd be eating, nuts and all this stuff. And I used to go in there and I used to just sit with him and I asked him, I said, man, why, what do you eat? He's like, man, if it ain't green, it's me and I ain't eating it, right? If it
Wow.
ain't green. And so from
Wow.
there, it kind of took me on a journey that like, okay, get back to the fundamentals, like what you saying. And then
Mhm.
when our formulator, when we started talking, we started hit the same core, but like I said, he's an educational person. So he's going to go all the way back to the beginning and bring you all the way up to the front. And as he was talking about the ingredients, the alignment started to happen, right? The genesis happened. Okay, from the beginning, that our bodies are carbon. You
Yeah.
know what carbon is, right? And then it's like light bulb. Now I have to go back to biology. I have to go back to science, and then everything off of carbon. Now you can start to understand, and now it starts to reveal to you, like from the beginning, like what you said, it's the genesis, how carbon
Mhm.
is made, what it does and its powers and why you are carbon. So it's pretty unbelievable.
Yeah, so I love that you said educate, 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 because at the end of the day, God gives us products, right? Not for us. He gives us products for us, yes, but he gives us products so that our products will then benefit the world. That's the
Right.
whole purpose. And I think what we have seen is we see the greedy and gluttonous society manipulate, pimp, and pander the public and hide behind logos. And I said, any brand I represent, any brand I work with, they have to be a brand that's about the people. And I have to understand who created it, because at the underneath, there's somebody underneath every brand. And I need to know what their brand blueprint is, because I need to know what I'm partnering with. Right.
Correct.
So another reason for why I do what I do, I'm not going to ever put anything out to the public that I don't know who and why. I'm going to tell you exactly why I am partnering with this, because if it doesn't align with Unite and Change the World, it don't align. It
Correct.
doesn't happen. Right. Okay. So now tell me about the mission. I'm assuming there's a movement and a mission behind this brand.
Oh, 100%. Our mission is quite simple, but, complex. Number one is health benefits with our beverages and being innovative in that process. That's number one. Number two is definitely, making sure that we use sustainable practices. So we don't use any plastic bottles. So we stay away from microplastics or the, potential to create products utilizing microplastics or plastic bottles. And then lastly is our big initiative, which is community impact. The reason why we have that as part of our mission is because myself and my partners, we grew up in a space where we had limited resources, and with the exception of the neighborhood Boys and Girls Club or the PAL League or the legends, right, that would do the things that nobody wanted to do. And so for us, we always want to be able to impact those legends by helping them and supporting them and being able to do things for them. Outside of them, we also like to do stuff for people. So we partner with Sleeping Heavily Peace, and we build beds for kids that are sleeping on the floor. We did a bed build in Oakland, California, where we built 100 beds and service 62 families, so no kid sleeps on the floor. Um, we also do Toys in the Hood, where we give toys
Wow.
away. So there's always different things that we're always looking for, and also just our most important work, which is supporting giving supporting resources to programs that are lowly impacted, by well highly impacted by limited resources.
I see a partnership with you and us in our beauty division. You talked about pH, and most stylists and people don't understand the importance and the impact of pH in the balance of your hair, how it impacts how your hair is impacted by the pH when you use a chemical, right? Even by placing water in the hair, the pH is then it is impacted, and people don't understand that pH scale. I see a huge opportunity for you in the beauty industry, both in the drinking internally in the body, but also just on the education level about how important pH is. Would you talk a little bit more about that? I am loving this conversation.
Yeah. So first, before I get into like the pH balance and what that means, our beverage, I use it as a face plunge, right? So I'll pour our water into a bowl and I'll face plunge because the minerals, right? Your skin is an organ.
Yeah,
Well,
largest organ.
yeah, it's the largest organ of our body. And so when
Hmm.
you dip your face into the plunge, now your body's absorbing and healing, from the outside going in. So just wanted to say that the minerals are being absorbed into the skin. Secondly, like pH is so important because pH balance is what fights off the alkalinity is what fights off the diseases, bacteria that's in your body. So if you ever like drink a soda or drink something that is very acidic, it lowers your pH balance within your body. And how do you regenerate that? Right? And so you have to
Hmm.
alkaline your body to regenerate that. So the truth of the matter is what's floating around through my research and through things that I've researched that your body is naturally alkaline at 7.365. As
Hmm.
soon as you drink a cup of coffee or drink something that's acidic, it drops to 3. So at that point, I mean, are you considered alive? Right now, you're because you're septical for things to grow, right, and not be fought off. So your immunity. So that's why pH balance is so important, and that you pay attention to it. Just rebalancing your level, making
So
sure that it's
talk.
there.
Can you explain to them the difference between the acidic and the alkaline side of pH? Because they both have to have a purpose.
Mhm.
I think we live as a society, um, very far in one side or the other, right? Not understanding, because being too far on the other side in the hair world is not a great thing, right? Because
Yeah.
the most caustic chemical we use is the highest on the pH scale. So somebody might think, oh, I need, after listening, right? Oh, I might think the highest in the alkaline is great, but settle down. He said pH balance. And
Mhm.
so in the hair world, the relaxer has the highest, I think it's about 12 on the pH scale. I think that's what it is, like 11.5 to 12.
Mhm.
So, can you explain a little bit about the acid side?
Yeah, so there's variety of different acids that is consumable, borderline consumable, and just inconsumable. And I think, in the world that we live in, when you're making products, you have to play with what you're able to play with. So, for example, the natural foods, the natural ingredients like coffee is very acidic. Now, to what degree, you can drink it and it's not going to eat your stomach up, but it could hurt your stomach, right? Because your body's not used to handling that. Then there's the acid in your stomach that digests food that helps break it down to where now it eats certain minerals or certain things out of the foods to help it
Mhm.
break down so that you can now extract the minerals out of it. So if our food is not highly in mineral content, then the acid is breaking a lot of that stuff down. So you're coming out of that food choice of like very minute minerals. So you become still remain very acidic because it didn't do its job. So it
Got it.
sits on you. And then the pH balance kind of comes in. It's like putting like a fire extinguisher on the fire, right? And then it
Yeah,
just boom
yeah.
calms it down, and it's still hot, but now it's coated, and now it can kind of intermesh to kind of bring the balance, and then eat away of the in borderline balance with the acid, right? So before you had acid that was just built up, and now you put the fulvic and humic minerals and the pH balance, and you put it on there, and it just kind of calms it down, and
It
now you're like,
cools it
okay,
off.
yeah, gut health,
Yeah.
your gut, you start to regenerate your cells, the body starts to extract the minerals right there from it. And so it's very important to understand the difference between the pH balance and being acidic. It's two different
Two
things.
different things. I'm hearing the words like kombucha and like those are acidic type foods, but those promote good bacteria because the body has to be able to do its job effectively.
Hmm.
Correct?
Absolutely. And those are great ways to do it. Me personally, I can't have too much because it sits up here now, and now
Mm,
indigestion starts to sit in because it bubbles up and it frays up. So, for me, right, that's what happens with me. That acidity, if you have too much of it, it could also be uncomfortable. So you have to watch that as well.
so both of them balanced.
Balance.
Balanced.
You have to
So
have balance.
so can you talk to me a little bit about how your dream, this water company, has impacted your family? Because let me just say this, my mission to unite and change the world, it has impacted everybody because it is like having a new child. It is all consuming. What has the journey been like for you and your family? Because
Yeah,
you have kids, right?
yeah. I have two children, wife. It's been quite interesting. I think it's been a fun journey because, you know, for some of us, we put a lot of effort and energy into work. And I think the way that I grew up, which was, in an environment where I didn't have both my parents present,
Mhm.
I'm looking for to be present all the time. So now I have to work on my balance. And
Mhm.
so, we believe at D2O that, our company is founded off of biblical principles. So you work and you also take care of your family, and you have to have a balance between the two. So when I get in a situation where, yeah, dad's busy this week, dad's busy, but also having the right and being bold enough to say no is something that is highly important because we feel like we always have to say yes. And you get caught up in that mode where like, okay, the business is growing, and yes, 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 and then you're 80% away from home, and your family's sitting over there looking at you like, oh, here's dad. And
Right.
so I have to have a balance, right, to say no. And it's been my journey with my family has been quite interesting because I have a daughter that's growing up into being a little lady, a young lady, and I have a
Mhm.
son that's grown up vastly from 3 to he's just going. So I
Mhm.
always have to be present. And then also I can't forget my wife, right? And I can't forget that we had a relationship before our kids. So
Mhm.
now it's finding that balance to find time and to check in and to make sure that we're present as opposed to always being on our phone or in the game, right? In the game of
In the
work,
game of
in the
life.
game of family, or game of
Yeah.
life. So
Yeah.
it's been
Yeah.
interesting. I've been growing. I've done a lot of growth the past maybe 4 or 5 years. God has just been working on me, making sure that I stay disciplined and make sure I get rid of those vices that maybe occupy my time that shouldn't occupy my time. And nothing bad, but just little things, right? Just going on a hike for too long because I'll go on a hike and I'll be gone for 3 hours. Like that's my
Oh
piece,
yeah.
but I can't be
Oh
gone for three
yeah.
hours. I can go for 30 to 40 minutes or an hour, but for 3 hours, that's quite too long.
So you're starting to find your way, find your balance. And I'm sure, I just hear that there's ebbs and flows in everything, and every new season has a new requirement of you. And something tells me in my heart of hearts that your personal brand is a brand that is going to be largely impacted by D2O. What has God spoken to Toure Carter personally, out apart from D2O?
Yeah, you know, I started. God placed me on this journey of speaking to people some while back. I mean, when I was 5 years old, people always say you're gonna be a deacon, you're gonna be a pastor, and I'm like, nope, not gonna do it. Um, and God has been steering me to continue to speak and just impact people through words and experience. That I think is the biggest impact, especially particular with our younger generation, and young adults and some older adults. And I think the array of experience that I've accumulated over this time thus far, from growing up to an athlete, to education, to work life balance, to marriage, to fatherhood, to brotherhood, to all these things, allows me to be able to tap into different genres and cultures of people. And that's where God wants me to be at as I continue to move forward. And we spoke about this, right? I'm not a limelight person. Like, I don't like to be in the
I
limelight.
know you don't like it, but that's where you're going.
Yeah. I enjoy it in some capacities. It's just not my the lifestyle that comes with it really is daunting. I'm very low key and I like to keep it that way. So I feel like God is having me, minister to folks in due time, right? As the sea comes. And I don't go out and search for it. It just
I
comes to
know.
me.
I
It just
know.
comes to me.
I know. We've had a lot of conversations. This is the first time I really got to really lay eyes on you, really, right? So that my seer could really see. And I'm like, ooh, we. Tell me about this. What was your relationship role model as father? What was your father like?
Yeah, so I had two fathers. My grandfather was really the example for me. He was a hard worker, drove a truck for over 53 years. Really was on the road all the time, but he always started a job and always finished a job. And he was a huge impact in my life. I remember he used to work on his trucks and cars in the backyard, or do gardening or whatever project he decided to do, whether if it's with duct tape or a screwdriver or whatever. But he always fixed it. But he would start in the morning and he wouldn't stop until he finished it. So it'd be times where I would go practice, go kick it with my friends, go do whatever, come back at 7:30. He has a light on, still working on that
Mm,
project that he started. So he just was the example, and for me, with
of
that
work, of hard
of
work.
work,
Mhm.
but borderline just like ambition and being like driven. My father was absent out of the first portion of my life, the first 18, 19 years. And then we started to build a relationship. And, what he kind of inspired me with was don't make the same choices that he made. Right. And so that was helpful. I was already above that because I didn't make those choices,
Mhm.
but it was just gratifying to have that reassurance from him.
Yeah.
Outside of that, I've had multiple male figures that come around. Rather if it was my great grandfather, had the beautiful pleasure of meeting both my great grandfathers. I met their friends. My grandfather's friends were like as we say, as the younger generation say, triple OGs.
Yeah.
They were old guys that came around with their hats, their brims, and they were dressed sharp all the time. They had these nice, clean cars, and they would come around and they just be a positive inspiration. They were just good men, right? And so I've been lucky to be around good men and bad men, and kind of see the difference
The
between all of
contrast.
them. Yeah, the contrast and what fits me. And now, like Deion Sanders was a motivation to me. He was one of my owners when I played for the team in Austin, and he said, we were in the locker room and he came in there and he was like, "Look, man, I want to see y'all blossom." And I was like, "Yeah, but how can we blossom if we don't have your speed or we don't have you?" He's like, "Look, don't be me. Take a little bit of me, take a little bit of this person, a little bit of this person, and you come up with yourself." And when he said that, like, it just flashed. Boom. That's what I've been doing all my life. Boom. Taking this person, this person, this person, this
Yep.
person. And you're drawn to them. And then you say, "Oh, that fits. That doesn't fit." You throw it away, right? You build in your toolbox and then you open it up. "Oh, no, I got this. What am I using this for?" And then you throw it out,
Yes.
right? Come back, you're like, "Dang, I needed it." But no, I don't need it, right? You just move on. So just being in a position to be around that kind of atmosphere from, my fathers, the two fathers that I had in my life, to the other men that were in my life, as well as the professional David Shaw and David Shaw Sr. and Tyrone Willingham. I mean, the list can go on and on and on. And I got people that I didn't even name that are not even in professional sports that are still there, just there. So yeah,
Mm.
having a mentor, a male figure mentor, is always important. And so that's been my inspiration. I draw from everybody.
Who was the female that inspired you to pick the wife you picked? Because I believe you have a great wife. I can't see you not picking a great wife, a great woman, who a woman who becomes a great wife. Who was the woman that inspired you, or women that inspired you to pick her?
Yeah, the one that set the mode for me was my grandmother. My grandmother, she's 81 now, and she was just like the rock of the house. She endured a lot of things. She put a lot of careers on hold for the sake of her family, and she was always patient with me.
Mm.
As much as I did not want to get up in the morning to go to school, she'd come in and tickle my feet. She wouldn't be violent, and I couldn't be mad at her. Right? I couldn't even be snobby. Leave me alone. I couldn't even say that. Right? Because she bent over backwards, washed the clothes, made sure the laundry is folded up, all that type of stuff. So for me, that's what kind of set it. And then there were other women that were kind of like what she wasn't, but what she was at the same time. So my
Yeah.
grandmother was not a violent person,
Yes.
but her friend would pinch the crap out of me in church. And those pinches would go through my dress pants to my leg. And I'd be sitting there rubbing it for 10 minutes, like, "Oh my gosh, you kidding me?" But those little pinches aligned me to respect women
Come
and just
on,
say,
baby.
"Hey, this is what I'm looking for." So my wife now, she's that, and then more some. And
Oh,
she always challenges me in a way to where she wants me to be the best version of myself that I can be for our family and for her. And with that comes a lot of like just testing, right? And something that I wasn't used to. And we
mm,
talked about like professional and being able to transition. Well, the football player stuff, transition into the family stuff,
yeah.
it does not mix. So get rid of it, right? Don't
The
don't
football
bring it
way of
in there.
life. Would you
Yeah,
say the way of life?
it's totally different because
Mhm.
it the only element that you would take from the professional side is being part of a team, and then your role, right? Those are the two things, and then doing your role just the best way that you can. And I
Yes.
think for me as a football player, it's hard for me to play one role when I'm used to doing all this on my own, right? All these roles on my own, but
Mm.
this role is I have to worry about so many other people and so many other timelines and so many other things and so many other balances and so many other things that I have to push to the side to make sure I focus on this. So she challenges me in a way, even in love, right? And being able to still date and still love each other as we grow older and grow together or grow apart, right? And so now we have
Oh,
to be
so good.
we're cognizant of how we're growing apart and how we bring it back together because it's going to happen, right? Life happens. You're going to grow apart, but you got to find a way to be able to come back. And the hardest thing is to grow apart and try to bring it back because there's so much you got to unravel to get it back, right?
Right.
But once you get it back, try not to let it go. And so we're
Yes.
constantly working in that atmosphere, and she challenged me in that way. So yeah, the women in my life, it was easy, right, for me when I saw her and we met and we talked and we dated. It was just a natural. It was a natural feeling.
It
Now,
was
whether if it
just
was reciprocated, I don't know. You have to ask her.
I have to ask her. We'll have to have her on and have to ask her what was her experience. I always say it's a relationship experience. The way I'm experiencing it and the way you're experiencing it might be two
It's
totally
different.
different things.
Well, we are. What is it? Men from Mars and women are from Venus, or
We're
vice
from
versa,
Venus,
right?
yeah. Oh,
We're,
child, that
we're,
is
we're
it
opposite.
is it's so true. Well, I do see you speaking, and I do see you teaching, and I believe that D20 is the vessel, one of the vessels, or one of your methods per se. But I really believe you have a platform for the family, and the football aspect and the sports aspect gives you an opportunity to speak to, reach, and teach fatherless children,
Mm.
dads who don't know how to be dads. That's why I was asking those questions, because I'm like, you are the role model, right? You do have, God can use this vessel to speak and teach and lead and guide, and He can use this product as the catalyst to bring them there. Have you thought about your ministry as a movement? Have you thought about these things in bringing your water brand into your personal brand?
Yeah, I have. I think that it just comes with time and patience. I think what I've learned is not to bite off more than I can chew, because at this point, I can't afford to get distracted, right?
Yeah.
And so now I have to make sure that I stay focused. It's kind of like, how Kobe always was like in the gym, focus on what he was doing. Michael was the same way. LeBron, all these great players, they focus in on one thing. And Bruce Lee said it best, right? I don't practice 1,000 kicks. I practice one kick 1,000 times. I feel like it's something that we're working in the background with my partner and I, because that's something that we sharpen each other with. Iron sharpens iron, so we sharpen each other up in terms of fatherhood because we both have boys, we
Oh
both
my
have girls.
God, I love it.
So we have a movement called Father Up that we've rallied behind. That we have a friend that's pushing the narrative, and we always try to do things, and it's forthcoming that we'll start meeting with other fathers. We've done a couple things with one of our ambassadors, Kariga Bailey. We do like a men's fellowship where he'll bring 200 men from the city of Oakland or from Sacramento, and we'll get in a room and we'll talk about like real life like issues like how to communicate. And I think it's big. We've always been a part of that. We started restoring the Kings in Oakland at Kingston 11. Just communicating to young men, young fathers, young husbands, young fiancés, boyfriends, or whatever, that we're okay to be emotional. It's okay to be vulnerable. Instead of we feel like we got to hide our masculinity and puff it out every time, or excuse
Mhm.
me, hide our feminine
Yeah, your feminine side.
on our
Hmm.
masculinity all the time.
Hmm.
And I think we're in a world now where that we got to let that go and we got to be vulnerable in spaces and communicate. Otherwise, our kids are going to continue to carry on that attitude, those things, and they're going to be broken.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I am so excited. I know that you think it's one or the other, but I think it's integrating, and I didn't even know about the father up, right? I don't know nothing about what you're saying, but the Lord is like, He's like the face of family. Like, this is all I can see is like, dude, I can see. I think our good friend Beth talked to me about some fireside chats that
Mm,
we were interested could possibly be doing. That is that's the perfect mixer to bring the water to, is a fireside chat, and
absolutely.
sponsored by your water company, because these conversations must be had.
Yeah,
They must
absolutely.
be
That's the only way that we can grow, right? We got to,
had.
I mean, the way that you say things, I I may not have heard it that way, and it may
Yeah. Yeah.
resonate, right? And
Yeah.
and when it resonates, now I go back and I meditate on it, I chew on it, and it grows into something special, right? Or grows into
Yeah.
something. But yeah, I feel like it's super important. Whatever you need, I'm down. You know me.
Oh, I literally am so excited, and I feel the same way. Whatever you need, I'm down. So talk to me. Where can we find the water? What's coming up for the water? Are there events? How are you marketing this brand?
Yeah. So you can find the water at www.drinkd20. That's our website. You can go to our Instagram at Drink D20, and you can go to our TikTok at Drink D20. Those are the platforms. We're in Walmart. We're on Amazon. So go to Amazon, go to Walmart, look us up. And then also we have a lot of events coming up. I mean, the NFL is coming in, coming to the Bay Area. So, we are working right now to be a part of that in multiple capacities. We're also doing a couple golf outings. Right now, we're down in LA, accomplishing a vendor booth for a high school that we're going to donate our proceeds to. So,
Wow.
we're all over the place. And as 2025, nears to the close, then we're going to gear up for next year of being in different places. And for us, we have a couple things on the horizon. We have some new products that we're going to be releasing. If go online, try out our black water, our energy water, and our spring water. I promise you, you won't be disappointed. And then we have some new flavors of our energy water that we're going to be bringing that I'm really excited about. And we also have some innovative products that we're working on in the background, some hybrids.
And so when you say hybrid, what's a hybrid? Look,
A
let me
hybrid
lean
is
in. What's a hybrid?
a term that just has multiple health beneficial ingredients. So like fusing, you know, energy with another restorative product, right? Without giving too
Okay,
much information. So just
got it.
stay tuned.
Got it.
Stay tuned.
It's proprietary. It's proprietary right now.
Proprietary in the beverage industry is definitely innovating, right? It's going to new heights. It's simplicity is great, but it's also going to next level of the simplicity. So yeah, there'll
Okay,
be some
so
things.
you have got to send me product. I haven't
Yeah, I
tasted.
got you.
I have not had the opportunity, and I promise you, I'll do it live. I'll open it up live, blindfold, taste test. I'll do the whole thing. So you got to send me product.
I got you. I got you.
Oh, I'm so excited. So they can find you online. They can see you at events, and you did just mention the NFL. What is your dream for working with professional sports? Is there one?
Yeah, I mean, I think my dream is to be part of some kind of platform in a professional setting. Whether if it's women's sports, whether if it's football, whether if it's basketball, lacrosse. I think for us, we're being multiple and not just targeting just one specific genre. It just so happens that the NFL is coming to the Bay Area, and so we're just knocking on doors to see what
Right.
transpires. So, I'm sure they're going to have a bunch of stuff going on for the 2 weeks leading up to the big game, and so we just hope to be a part of it, and hopefully we'll be announcing some stuff shortly.
Oh,
But whatever. It's not just football. It's not just basketball.
it's everything.
We want it's
Soccer. I'm
everything.
assuming it's everything that.
Hydration is hydration, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah. That's
hydration
why he's
doesn't say
screening
it's just
everything.
fit
In the
for
hospitals.
just this person, right? It's not
Yeah.
just fit for just sport. Hydration is universal.
Oh, it is so exciting. Okay, so I want to do a little game as we close the show, right? As we end the conversation. So you're gonna respond as I ask these questions. This is you're gonna give the response. I'm gonna ask the question. You're gonna give the response. This is what I want to do. What do you want to do?
So to finish the question,
Whatever it is. Yep, you got to finish it off. This is what I want to do.
I want to go on vacation. That's what I want to do. I want to
Amen.
go on
Amen.
vacation.
Amen. You want to vacation? Where do you want to go?
Any place, right? Hawaii, Dubai, the Northern Lights, New Zealand, anywhere.
You don't even care.
No,
Just you want to go to Compton. You don't even care. Just a vacation.
I just want to go
Okay.
somewhere different.
All right. Talk about this. What's the next one? This is what I'm about to do. What are you about to do that
Uh,
you can share?
Yeah, I'm about to continue to train. I'm about to go hit the gym. Actually, I usually get up early in the morning, but I got a late start, and so I'm gonna hit the gym, and then I'm going to get some breakfast. I
Amen.
like to eat late breakfasts, so
Okay. Okay. And I think you just told me. I said, and this is what I'm going to do. You just told me I'm going to go eat, do this, and I'm going to go work
that's
out.
what I'm going to do.
And then, who do you want to do life with?
My family.
Oh,
Yeah, my family.
absolutely, completely and totally.
Yeah.
You're content. There's no other person you want to collaborate with right now. You just want to be doing it with your family.
Well, yeah, right now with my family, I think I have an overall vision of, I used to have the greats that I wanted to meet, right? The Michael Jordans, the, Muhammad Ali, the Jim Browns, um, and so now it's really open. God has been so good to us that we've been able to be in the place, the presence of other professional athletes that I used to look up to. So I have those conversations with these individuals now, right? They're no
Right.
longer I'm no longer calling them, they're calling me. And I'm
Woo!
able to I'm able to say some stuff to them like, hey, you were my all-time favorite. I have your jersey, I have your basketball card, I have this, I had your shoes, I had this. You are one of my favorites. And it's just a thrilling feeling because you go through life like, man, I wish I could meet this person, this person, this person. And then when they show up, you're like, whoa, they're here. Like, you know, okay, what am I gonna do? Calm down, calm down.
Settle
Act like
down.
you've been here before. So, yeah, no, I mean, right now there's multiple collaborations that we're seeking right now. We're being intentional with who we partner with because D2O is a
Right.
special brand,
That's right.
and we hold ourselves to a level of excellence, and we want people to rally behind us, and we want people who represent excellence in their capacity to be able to match and align with what we're doing.
Oh God, I'm so honored. I'm honored to watch this. I'm honored to know you, and I'm honored to watch God really bless somebody who is really, really here to do His work and serve. So before you leave, do you have one nugget from your journey to leave behind with the people who have watched this conversation?
Oh, it's so many. um, so my favorite Bible verse is Matthew 7, 13, 14. And it says,
Mhm.
wide is the gate that leads to destruction, but narrow is the path that leads to everlasting life. And there are very few people who find it. So for me, that Bible verse has stuck with me all the way through college. And how it came to me was my second year in college football. I was like, hey, I need some work done, right? Some pictures because the whole social media thing was like fairly like obsolete at that time.
Right,
And
right.
so I had my roommate. He did like communications and photography, and so he was like, "I'll put something together for you." So he put something together for me. But he asked me, he's like, "What's your like your driving force?" And I said, "Well, I'm a spiritual person, so anything biblical, like something like that, just mesh. Let me see what you come up with." So he made a picture, and the Bible verse was Matthew 7, 13, 14. And I read it. That was the first time I read it. I read it, and I was like, "Holy crap, this has been my life."
Yes.
Whoa! Right. So don't
Yes.
and really stand firm, believe in what you are doing, and cold-heartedly just focus in on it. Don't worry about all the other stuff that goes along with it. It's all going to work out, but just stay focused and keep driving forward. Keep driving forward. Don't go right. Don't go left. If God tells you go left, then you go. But just go
Well,
straight, and it'll all work out. And just be ready to edit yourself. Right.
ooh,
Be ready to edit yourself because it's going to happen.
oh, ooh, Teray, Teray, Teray. So, I do have other lanes, like I said, I have other lanes of media, and I would love to have you on those. So, we will have you back because I absolutely love talking to you. I wish you all the best in everything that you do at the rest of 2025 and into 2026.
Same
And
here,
for
sis.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. And I know that 2026, we have some great things to do together. So it's exciting times.
Absolutely.
All right, y'all. We made it through another Saturday, whether you call it Sabbath Saturday or if it's just your Saturday. We made it through. And I hope that you enjoyed this conversation because it was filled with tips, tricks, nuggets to help you live well together. And that's the important thing. If we are not helping you live well together, stop watching. But if we are, hit that QR code right there. Click it, like it, share it, love it, get it out and let people know. And go follow Teray on all his social media links. And until next Saturday morning, this is Chanel Brown, and I truly do love you. And you know what I want you to do? Go love Yo Live. Bye, y'all. See you next week.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let's go. Get on your mark, let's go. What you waiting for? There's so much more. The future's yours. Let go, explore. It's yours for sure. Sing with me with fear. So to God I stay near. I keep my hand to the plow. There's no turning back now. My future look bleak. I decided to see. He said follow me on a journey